Our counselors are currently having dinner with the reps, talking about the programs we have here at the high school with them, talking about our school profile, and having conversations with those representatives about the programs they have at the colleges and universities. So I'm going to speak for about 20-25 minutes, and then at about 6:30, the reps will come up, and we will run it in a town hall session. I'll ask them all to introduce themselves, say a little something about their school that they would like us to know, and then really turn it over to you with any questions that you may have about maybe the college specifically, or the college application process, or the college search process in general. But for now, for the next 20-25 minutes, I really want to speak to the seniors and where we should be in the college application and college search process. This is a quote I like to share often with my students and with families. Sonia, can we try to bring the volume down a little bit? Fix the speaker there. College is a match to be made, not a prize to be won. Really what I'm hoping you get from that quote is we shouldn't be chasing a name of a college. We shouldn't be chasing the idea that we get into this huge brand name school and now all of a sudden everything for the rest of our lives is going to be perfect. Nice linear line and we are set. Rarely does it work out like that. Really what we're looking for in this college application, college search process is finding the school that's best for us, for our individual needs. And I see about a dozen or so students here right now. That means there's probably about a dozen or so different schools that these students are going to wind up. Because there's no way a big brand name school is perfect for every single one. So what may be perfect for someone at Princeton may not be for somebody else. Maybe the specific program they need is at another school. Maybe Rowan is a school that we need to look at. College of New Jersey, Rutgers, all different schools, all different offerings, all different strengths, and the idea is to find what matches our individual strengths. Really trying to get across the point that it's an individual process. When we had the seniors in here a week ago, I shared with them this is an individual process. There's 300 seniors in the class, which means there are 300 different pathways to get to college. Don't compare yourself to the person next to you. Some people may find out in November, December that they're going to the college of their dreams. Others may not find out until April. And that's okay. The process is different for everybody. The important part is going through that process and making sure that we find a school that's right for us. So for our seniors, where should we be right now in the process? I've listed some things here. Hopefully at this point we've identified some schools that we're going to apply to. I'm going to talk in a moment about how many of those schools we should be applying to. Hopefully we have a list of schools and we're ready to apply or begin the application process. I just saw someone take a picture, and that's great. Go ahead and take pictures. I forgot to tell you, I will post this all online, as well as the video, probably Monday or Tuesday next week, okay? We should, at this point, have taken or are ready to take an SAT or an ACT. There are still a couple of administrations to go. There's an SAT in October. There's another administration in November and December for both tests. So there's still opportunities to take another administration. Hopefully we have, and I know everybody has made a common application account. Counselors went in to senior phys ed classes last week, Thursday and Friday. So at the very least, every student here has made a common application account. And why that's important is because we match that account to our Naviance account here at the school. That allows us to send everything electronically to the colleges. Transcripts, letters of recommendation, resumes, whatever we need to, IB cover sheets for those in the IB-DP or CP program, everything is sent electronically. So we went through that process with the seniors during phys ed last week, so they're all up to speed on that. Some students have coalition application accounts. There are certain schools that only take the coalition application. Counselors are versed in that, and they're working with those students individually. The number of schools is significantly smaller in terms of the number of schools that accept the common application. So if you need a coalition application account, hopefully we've done that. And there are a few schools out there that still just have their own specific application. If you run into a school like that, let's make sure that we've created username, passwords, and online accounts for them. Many of the colleges, will do everything through their online portals. Let you know when the transcripts have arrived, when they've processed, when a decision is being made, when you can expect to get the decision, and even give you the decision online. Some schools still do the big envelope in the mailbox, which is exciting, right? Letters of recommendation. Hopefully we've spoken to 2 teachers here in the building. If we haven't, you're doing that tomorrow, okay? Get to 2 teachers. Make sure that we've put in the request for recommendations. And the last piece up here is we have ideally started, in the perfect world, we've finished our essay writings for the colleges. That's the college essay. Some schools have additional supplemental writings in addition to the college essay. So in some instances, you may be writing 2, maybe even 3 writing submissions for these colleges or universities. Any questions about those so far? Ideally, we know the schools that we want to apply to. There are some people who are still working through the process, and that's okay. So if we're still visiting colleges, that's great. But we want to start to really fine-tune that list and know which schools we're going to apply to. Other questions? Yes, sir.
What the question regarding the second to last one, request for letters from teachers.
Yes.
Does those letters of recommendation, can they be outside of teachers? Meaning, for example, like someone's made a criminal justice, even if somebody's federally, could that also be a possible letter of recommendation?
Yes, it can, but I still want 2 letters from teachers. Some schools will allow us to send as many letters as we can get. Others will limit it to 1, 2, or 3. So we're going to look, when your student comes down, says, I'm ready to send to this school, this school, this school, we're going to look how many letters did they take, and we're going to make a decision which letter are we going to send. The students can't read the letters and say, oh, this is the one I want. I know my experience with Mr. Miller has been great. I want Mr. Miller's letter to go, or whatever the case may be. But absolutely, if we can get a letter from outside, we'll take it, but it's not in place of a teacher recommendation. Other questions? Okay. So your school counselors are here to help you with anything and everything you need. One of the things we do with students all the time is mock interviews. I had a student today, her counselor asked me to do a mock interview with her because she wanted the student to experience it with someone she didn't really know that well. So I wound up doing a mock interview this morning for someone who's going to do an interview at UPenn next weekend. So we'll go through the mock interview, get that experience and the questions that they're going to ask you, learn how to formulate answers on the fly, how to articulate certain thoughts, and give them some feedback after that interview. We often read essays, look at and critique, what can we add, what can we take away. We'll do resume writing, again, go over the common application, the coalition. So really, your counselor, from this point on, you should be in constant contact with throughout, making sure that, one, everything is sent, but if you need something extra, you need another set of eyes on that essay, you need another set of eyes on that writing something, you need to do a mock interview, you need someone to look at your portfolio, if you're doing art or music or something along those lines, all right, come down and see us, that's what we're here for. Something I need to make sure that we're clear about. Once upon a time, the high school used to be able to send SAT and ACT scores. No longer the case. It's the student's responsibility to send the scores to the colleges. We do transcripts, we do letters of recommendation, resume, cover pages. We cannot do SAT or ACT scores. That's done by the students. Here's a caveat. Some students are applying for a November 1st deadline. Great. Some of the schools may require that the scores get there by November 1st. So don't sit down Halloween night after trick-or-treating and try to get out these scores. Sometimes everything's online. Sometimes it will take 2 weeks for the scores to electronically get from College Board to the college, right? Or from ACT to the university that you want to apply to. So give yourself some time to put those SAT or ACT T-scores through. If you're done taking tests and you know the colleges that you want to do, go ahead, go home this weekend and send them. There's no reason to wait. All right, if you're ready, go ahead. Yes. Absolutely, yep. Before applications, they can go. Yep, yep. In the digital age, nothing is sent at the same time now. So once they receive one thing, one item, they put it in the admissions file, and anytime something with your name, date of birth comes in, it goes into that file. We have helped students. We have students who come down all the time. Hey, can you help me send the SAT, ACT scores? We can do that. Just come with a credit card. You're not using mine. All right? Questions about this? Again, so I already addressed the letters of recommendation. Please, make it personal when you thank them. Walk up to them, hand them a letter that you've written that says, thank you so much for the time to write the letter. Some of these teachers write 15, 20 letters of recommendation or more. The very least you can do is write a note, a little card that says, thank you for everything. Buy them a coffee, buy them a coffee, all right? But just make sure that you thank them for that process, okay? When you are ready to submit, you submit online. So I've completed the common application, I've completed my essay, I'm ready to go. Go online, submit, pay the credit card fee, pay the fee with the credit card, send it to the college. Make sure the SAT and ACTs have gone, and you're good to go. We do not get any alert from a college or university that says so-and-so applied, send us the transcript. Doesn't happen. So after you apply to a school, you need to come down to the guidance department. One of these forms here. Right? Don't put it on a post-it and say I applied to Ithaca. Post-it's going to get lost. All right? You're going to fill out this form. It's available in every counselor office. You're going to tell us if it's early action, early decision, regular decision, how many letters we're sending. We're going to go through over all that with you. You're going to have a face-to-face conversation with your counselor, so there's no confusion, nothing gets lost in translation. It's all already on this form. When you're done, the counselor's then going to send it through a Naviance. Once we hit submit, it goes, and very often is in the admissions office within 24 hours. Now, the admissions office is receiving thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of applications. They have to open up each file, look at each file, and then take it and put it into the proper student file. That doesn't happen in 24 hours. Okay? That sometimes can happen over the course of weeks. And often, what will occur is you will have sent your application October 17th, let's say. Your counselor sent your stuff on October 18th, the transcripts and everything else. And we just say Thanksgiving dinner, and the portal still says they don't have anything. Okay? Doesn't mean it didn't get there. It just means we need to call them and say, can you check the files to make sure that it was received? They look and then they check off, yes, we have everything, and they update the file right then and there. Yes?
So if you're looking for early action, let's say that date October 15th,
Yeah.
You get the application in, you have your SAT form,
Yes.
send it in. Go to the guidance council, they send October 15th, it's not showing. October 14th, it's not showing. Should fall in the fire company.
You can make a call if you want, but we have a timestamp on what's sent and submitted, and they have that on their end, so it's not an issue or an issue. Yes.
So is there one form for each college, or there one high school community, the guidance has 10?
10 forms. Yep. Yes.
And this also go before the application is done? And you request the transcript to go to goals and application?
Yes, you can. If we're coming up against a deadline, we want to make sure everything gets out there. Yes, we can do that. Other questions? These are good questions. I'm peppering you with emails. I know, but I want to keep you informed of what's going on. We have college fairs coming up here. We sent you an email today about the college fair at the County College of Morris on September 15th. Over almost 200 schools at this point will be there. So in that email that I sent you is also an attachment that shows which schools will be attending. It's also on CCM's website, so if you want to get to a college that you're going to apply to and you know they're going to be there at CCM, great opportunity Sunday to get there and meet with them if you can. I also asked you to register for Strive Scan in that email, if you see it. It takes you 5 minutes to register, and what this does, once you register online, it's going to give you a barcode directly to your phone. When you go to the admissions fair and you walk up to Purdue's booth, you're going to introduce yourself. They're going to say, great, you have a barcode. You're going to show the barcode. They're going to scan it. They have your information there now. They have a record that they met with you. When the fair is over, they're going to send you some information. So it takes away those old cards that we used to fill out once upon a time, right, and hand it to them. But it's a great way to be on record that you've shown interest in the school. September 26th, we're going to have a college fair here in 85 schools that we're going to somehow fit in the front hallway and the library. And we're actually looking to set up the Strive Scan in time to do that here at the school as well. Great opportunity to come down, especially if you're about to apply, meet with some reps, make an impression. October 24th, November 14th, there's 2 other fairs that you can put on your calendar.
When will those schools be posted?
I'm going to post this the 26th next week. I didn't want to get it confused with the CCM fair. Just wanted to give you some statistics. These are the top 10 most applied to schools from students at Westmore Central High School. Rutgers being the number 1, number 10 being University of Maryland College Park. What this shows you here is at Rutgers, over the past 3 years, 134 students out of, 174 applications were submitted, 134 of them were accepted. That's 77%. From the national pool, they're accepting 61%. So our students are doing well at Rutgers. And you'll see here, almost all of these, our percentages are higher or right at the national average. Northeastern, very competitive school. Nationally, they're accepting 19%, yet 43% of our applications have been accepted. So that's a tribute to the work that the students are doing here at West Morris. All right, I said I wanted to address the number of schools you're going to apply to. 5 to 7 is the goal here. Right? If you're doing your homework, you're going to have an idea of the answers that you're going to get from the colleges. You're going to know that you have 1 or 2 safety schools. You're going to apply, you're going to get in, and I'm happy to go there if nothing else works out. You're going to have 1 or 2 reach schools. Man, I would love to go there, but I know my scores are a little short. My GPA might be a little short. Hopefully in an interview and an essay, I can wow them, and I can get into that school. You're going to have 1 or 2 of those. And then you'll have 3 to 5 target schools. Your GPA, your SAT, everything is in line with what they're looking for. It should be a positive result. The low end, that's 5 schools, and the high end, that's 7 schools. Why is this important? 2014, each student was submitting about 6.2 applications, and only 59% of those applications came back with a yes. So we really started to change the conversation we're having with students and making sure that we're looking for the right fit in terms of where we are academically, making sure that we're applying to schools that we are targeted to get into, that we're going to have options come decision time. The number of applications per student has gone down over the years, and you can see for the past 4 years, 73% of the applications we put out come back with a yes. And that doesn't include CCM, which is 100%. So I think we're really doing a good job here in targeting the schools that we're looking for. So 5 to 7, please. I think I hold the department record at 38. I couldn't control it. Sometimes it happens. Financial aid. We had financial aid night last week. If you weren't able to attend, it is posted online. Ed Zamora did a fantastic job taking an exciting subject like financial aid and making it relatable for everybody. So put some really good information in there. It's posted online. Big date I want you to know is October 1st. If you are thinking about pursuing financial aid, you need to start the FAFSA October 1st. It's open and available to you. And we have on the guidance website, under the college process, you'll see a link for financial aid. We have all this information there. One of the points I want to drive home to you, Mr. Zamora has been in this field for 20 years, and he said only 4 times in those 20 years has he ever told family not to fill out the FAFSA. So even if you don't think you're eligible for financial aid, you need to fill it out. Here's why. Many of you have life insurance policies, yes? In case, God forbid, something happens. Think of the FAFSA as a life insurance policy, except it's free. You fill it out. God forbid, between now and then, somebody loses a job. Right? Or God forbid, something worse happens, you're no longer able to work. You cannot ask the college for financial aid unless you filled out the FAFSA. Meaning, if your financial situation changes between now and the start of school next year, and you need help, but you never filled out the FAFSA, they can't help. So, I know it's not exciting, and I know it's a lot of work to do the FAFSA, but it's important that you do it, even if you're remotely considering financial aid. Questions about that? We could talk for hours about financial aid. For all the men in here, right, you must register for the selective service in order to be eligible for financial aid. It's the draft. Okay? Or the post office, they have those forms there for you. We can also get those forms to you. And put a couple links in here as well for you to look at for financial aid. But really, I want to refer you to the presentation last week. A lot of resources in those slides that you shared. Any questions about anything that I've gone over? Yes?
For the selective service, do you have to be 18 or are you over?
Good question. I think you have to wait till you're 18. Yep. Is that right? Yeah. So, 18, and when you fill out the FAFSA, it's going to ask for the birth date, and then you're going to, at that time, it's going to be 17. And then once you become 18, just fill it out, then ask for it then.
Okay.
You mentioned the interview for the person going in.
Yeah.
Do all schools do interviews? How confident is it? Who does it? Why?
Yeah. So all schools do not do the interview. It is fairly common though. Who does it? It ranges. The Ivy Leagues, often it's an alum that does the interview. A local alum will do the interview and then submit a report back to the admissions office. Many times, interviews are done directly with the admissions officer, and that's done on the campus. We have had, over years, I can't count how many times we've had students Skype in our offices with an admissions rep, Texas, California, Florida, to do that. You know, oftentimes, if you're a borderline candidate, it's kind of something you want to push for and ask for, because that conversation can help you, particularly when the college is sitting around that table and deciding between the final few applicants. So
Generally, when it's done, when you're on the cusp there.
correct. Other questions? No? All right, just waiting for Jim. All right, so that's, I'm done with my piece, all right? So again, I just want to relay one more time. It's an individual process. Don't compare yourself to the person next to you. Don't compare schools. Don't compare timelines. Every single person is different. Worry about the school that's right for you, not the name of the school. Okay? When you submit an application, you have to tell us. Counselors are not mind readers. Come down, talk to us. We're all friendly. Have a conversation, fill out that form, and we'll make sure everything gets out on time. Okay? All right, that's all I have for now. In a couple minutes, we'll bring the reps up here, and we'll let them talk to you about their schools and the college application process a little further. Thank you.